What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, my friends. Here we are sitting at about $326.86. We're on the hourly candle now. So we had a rather productive day. Closed our last hour of the day to the downside. Not a whole lot of volume, and that's okay, right? Volume's actually been decreasing as we've continued to consolidate here. Generally speaking, volume gets to a very low point when you're at the point of breaking out, right? Are we going to break out to the downside or the upside? That's not necessarily for me to say, at least not at this point. I mean, I do think it's going to be to the upside, but let's give some sustenance behind that. Okay, so looking at the 1 hour time frame, the RSI, if anything, would more point to going to the downside because we are getting oversold. We're not getting overbought. We can't even maintain readings above the 60. And that is what you call the bullish area of control, is above the 60 going into the overbought zone, right? The strong readings. We can't even do that. So until we produce something above the 60 that sustains, it's not really worth talking about moving up just yet, right? I do think we're going to move up. I really don't think that we're going to break out of this zone to the downside. We could, and if we do, I'll mention those targets too. But I definitely expect we're going to break out. It's just right now what I'm seeing on the 1 hour RSI it's not conducive to something that's going to happen immediately. So perhaps tomorrow we still figure ourselves out, right? Today is Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday. Thursday there, and then we have Friday to end the week, so the next 2 days. Maybe by the end of the week we come back up and we close at about 350 or something. You know, give us a neutral close to the week, maybe a slightly positive close to the week. Something like that could happen. If we do break out to the downside, which could happen, looking at the 1 hour time frame, it could happen that we're breaking out of this consolidation phase here by the end of this week, or more likely it would be next week. Okay, I'm expecting probably early next week, if not middle of next week, we'll break out to the upside. But if it happens that we break out to the downside, the area that we'd watch for, what we'd want to see happen, or I guess, I don't know, maybe some people wouldn't want to see happen. I always enjoy whenever we get some downside volatility. It allows you to buy at lower prices. $307. I didn't mean to be on a 4 hour, I meant to be on a daily. I would say 297. If we close a day below 297, that would make me think we're going lower. Breaking out of this too, right? Because if we were to put these lines here, lower descending lines, lower from the highs and from the lows, something like that at the 886, I think would be a good requirement. So 296. Breaking below 296 would suggest we go to 260 or likely lower than that, potentially as low as $230. Something like that could happen. Okay. If and when you see prices above 355 on a daily closing basis, that means we're breaking out to the upside. Okay, 355, and I suspect that's going to happen again next week. I think by the end of this week, we only have 2 days left, we'll probably be back around here, around 350, and then next week we get that first day to close above 355. Maybe it's a big kind of gap day like this, or maybe it opens up properly and then it moves up throughout the day. I don't know, but I would suspect that next week is the week that we begin moving up to this area here. If we look, there was something I was looking at yesterday, and I wish I brought it up. Was it this? It's kind of similar. It wasn't this though, was it? No. What was it? It might have been this area. Okay, yes, something similar to that. Yes, okay, yeah, that's what it was. So here you've got this downtrend, right? Downtrend here, lower highs, lower lows. You break out and you kind of move sideways, and then in a matter of literally from the point here that you started moving up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, you hit this top. That top right there was at the flat kind of top of this part here. I'm going to delete all these lines so you can see. Just put it right here. This top came in line with these resistance points back here, okay? And it's a bit smaller, but a similar kind of idea here, right? Where you're sloping downwards, okay? You break out and you move sideways, and then you move up in a very short amount of time, in a 5 day period. That's a week's time, right? You're not getting oversold on your daily RSI, but you are below the 50, okay? And here, where we're at now, it's very similar kind of circumstances, I would say. We've got this downward sloping trend. We've broken out, and now we're moving sideways, but above the trend line, right? Our RSI isn't as low. If anything, that's a more positive thing. And if we were to break out, if we were to see a very similar move to this, right, from this little corrective phase moving up, right to this shelf, our shelf, I feel like, is right around here at about 450. So all I'm trying to say by that is not by the end of this week, But by the end of next week, if not the very beginning of the following week, that last week of February, I would expect that we're at about $450. So it's happening now, which sets us up, that really does set us up well for the beginning of March to break out to new highs, new all-time highs, new relative highs. And I think that by the end of March, we truly will see the target of $1,000 or beyond. I'm thinking 1,300 really could come on the table. The longer that we've consolidated, the more that we've consolidated, it's only made me think that higher prices are possible. Okay, 961. 961 is the first target of this secondary zone. The 2618 is the last target. So anything between 961 to 1540 truly is game. I like this, the 2272 right here at about $1,232, right? 123. I like that a lot. I think that's where we're going to go, or at least something very close to that. We're at $326 now. Likely we're going to break out to the upside. Likely it'll be next week. I think that we will retrace a bit tomorrow and the next day back up to about 350, getting set up, and then next week we'll explode. We'll have this going into the end of the month. We'll start moving up, and beginning next month, going into the end of the first week or second week of next month, we'll probably break out to new all-time highs. Finishing the month, or at least sometime by the middle of the month, I would expect that we are at $808, if not well above this, right? I think that we're really going to take off from here. And you can see, I know this trajectory, it might look a little bit intense, but we've definitely had more intense trajectories back in the day, back whenever we're moving at full strength. So I do expect being at higher readings in the RSI now, okay? Being at higher readings now, I think that we will see a more explosive move than what we saw from lower readings here. Either way, it's bullish as hell, very bullish, but I think that we're on our way, you guys. From a price perspective, from a high to a low, the number to watch, the price to watch before we know that we're thinking about $1,000, I would say 445. 445, technically 504 is how we know we're getting there. It's going to happen in a very short amount of time. That's when we're in our breakout phase. But I think we could get excited enough at 445. Something above these highs here, something just outside the golden ratio zone. So 326.82 now, 445. That's our next target area. We likely see that sometime next week, if not very early the following week. And then I think to close out the month, we will be around, if not reaching for these highs going into next month, breaking out on our way, all on our way. I think it starts now. I think this is the beginning of our move to prices that are above $1,000 finally. That's all I got to say. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, my friends. Bye-bye.